This episode of the Ponder Football Coaches Show is brought to you by Montana Ridge Outfitters. You love hunting and the outdoors, and so do we, and that's why we've created a way for you to enjoy it every month. With Montana Ridge Outfitters Shirt of the Month Club, subscribers get a new shirt with one of the top hunting ranches, guide services, or dealers from the United States and around the world. With this shirt style of your choice, members receive a 5x7 color card that has pictures, information related to each month's subjects. In addition, our website features previous month shirts as well as MRO merchandise. Go to MontanaRidgeGear.com and select a 3, 6, or 12-month subscription and begin receiving your packages in the mail the following month. Now, as a member, you will not know what month's subject will be until you receive it in the mail. Thank you for being one of us, and we look forward to supplying you with next month's shirt. Again, that's MontanaRidgeGear.com. Also being a sponsor is Heroes Heating and Air, servicing the North Texas area for your heating and air conditioning needs. They can service your existing unit or design a complete brand new system. Whether it's just for a service or a new install, pick up the phone and give them a call, 940-597-9638. The Lions get their first win of 2023, and what an odd one it was. Hello, everybody. Terry Bennett here on the Montana Ridge Outfitters Ponder Football Show, right here on S2S Sports Network, part of L4 Media, as the Lions go to 1-1 as they beat rival Krum 22-9. Great defensive game, a weird game. In case you didn't know, the game basically got split Friday and Saturday because of storms. It was like that across the whole state last week, man. This is one of those weeks that it's really, really tough to gauge things with some of these games that didn't get a full end game on Friday because things change so much from just 24 hours. Now, in saying that, the Ponder-Krum game basically was the same way. Krum was moving down the field, but Ponder was making big plays and putting them behind the chains, and they'd get those yards back, but they couldn't quite get a first down. They weren't able to put points on the board for Ponder. Offensively, at times, it was fits and spits, but you had a bunch of big plays. You might have found a really big-time quarterback in Tyson Price, the sophomore, as he made a couple big throws to Case Peacock, including a 40-yard touchdown right before halftime. And then what really changed in the game was right after that touchdown, getting Krum to go out on downs and then getting that big 50-yard touchdown pass to make it 22-3 with 38 seconds left. And that's what good offenses do. When the defense gives you the ball back and you have time, you find a way to make the score. And that really, in my opinion, is what kind of separated the game and gave Ponder the first win in the Marcus Schultz era there. Another tough one this week, as it's going to be the first home game for the Lions, and they're going to be hosting the Godley Wildcats. Now, they're 0-3, but as Coach will tell you, they're a good team. This is a team last year in 4A that went 3 rounds deep. They kind of basically started the way they've done so far this year, except for last year they did beat Quinlan Ford. This year they lost to them 44-39. But last year they lost to Paradise. They lost to Gatesville. They lost to Ferris. But then they got on a run in the playoffs before losing in a shootout to Monahans 62-55. They have a great running back, Godley does, at Landon Thigpen. It feels like we're getting back in kind of a running back era. They have a really good quarterback, though, in Wyatt Burke. He's a junior. He's really tall. They have a really tall team. I like to say basketball on grass. They have some size, too. Don't get me wrong. But they're going to look really tall. And they're going to be pretty deep. This is a Godly program that Coach Curtis Lowry has really got rolling after a few years ago kind of being a laughingstock. The last few years, they've been to the playoffs. They've made hay in the playoffs like they did last year. They've made the playoffs now 5 out of 6 years. And so this is a Godly program that's getting used to winning. And this is going to be, in my opinion, up to date, the toughest test for Ponder. But this is the right time to have it because you start district play next week, and it still feels like there's a game missing because of that first week game. Now, that'll be made up when you play in 2 weeks in the non-district game, which – as we were talking, he doesn't like to do that, but you want to make that game you missed up, not only just for kids getting snaps and getting experience, but as he points out, you want your seniors to have at least 10 games. Now, of course, you want them to go further, have playoffs, But you want to at least have those 10 games for the seniors. You hate to see a game taken away, especially by a team dropping you late and you're not able to find anybody in that week. And so that's why that Houston St. Pius X will be a game in 2 weeks. They start district next week with Paradise. Then they've got Houston St. Pius X on September 29th outside of district, and then they get back in district on October 6th. All right, we're going to do what we always do, and that's talk to the head coach of the Lions, Coach Marcus Schultz. And we'll do all that when we come back right here on the Montana Ridge Outfitters Coaches Show. Here at L4 Media, we talk high school football, 4A, 3A, and 2A in Texas. We talk East Texas sports. We talk NFL, guy talk, movie and booze. We also talk wrestling and so much more. And you can see it all on our YouTube channel at L4 Media Company. Like and subscribe. Terry Bennett back here on the Montana Ridge Outfitters Ponders Football Show. Now joined by the head coach of the Lions, Coach Marcus Schultz. And, Coach, first off, congratulations. Your first win as the Ponder Lion head coach. It was an odd one, but a win's a win.
I appreciate it, Terry. Yeah, no, it was definitely one to remember and one that, I hope we don't have to do something like that again, because it was starting the game and then getting excited and hyped up and then sitting for about an hour and 45 minutes and then calling it to come back the next day to finish it. It took a lot out of both sides, both kids and both teams. And so, I was just proud of our kids, the way that they fought, and they came back on Saturday ready to play and ready to fight and finish what they started Friday night.
As a coach, how do you do that on Saturday? I mean, it's tough enough, Friday and everything, but these guys played, what y'all play, like 2 quarters, and so your body is sore, you have all that, and then you have to come right back Saturday and do it again. As a coach, how did you prepare for that?
I don't know that you can really prepare for it. We just try to make sure that our kids kept their minds where they needed to be, knew the task at hand, and we knew what we had to do, and so just getting them back to the field house and making sure that they got home and in bed. And we brought them back up fairly early to have breakfast and watch a little bit of film and to get ready and get them locked back in. So, I don't know that you can prepare for it, but it was something that, our kids were resilient. Our coaching staff was resilient. Our community, showed back up on Saturday ready to cheer. And so it was like I said, it was a interesting game, but it was one that I thought we played well in.
Well, speaking of that, offensively, Tyson Price, sophomore quarterback, had a great game for you. And you and I had talked during coaches school, and you had said, the offense is going to be there. We got to find a signal caller. You found one, but you've also possibly found 2 now. You've got to feel really good about the quarterback position.
I do. And Tyson Price has done a great job. He came in the second half of that first week game, and then he started and finished out the game this week in Krum. And so, he does a great job on both sides of the ball. Is on special teams. Obviously, he's my punter in our punt formation, and so averaged 37, 38 yards per punt, and came off the edge on a field goal and had a big field goal block in the Krum game as well. And so he does a lot for us. And so keeping him in shape and ready to go. But, we spread it around. It wasn't just him. We had a lot of good players step up on both sides of the ball. And so, seeing Case Peacock do his thing and, went for over another 100 yards and had a couple touchdowns. And then, on the defensive side of the ball, we had guys step up like Cooper Reynolds, had 2 picks. 6 or 7 tackles. And so, just seeing our guys come together that play both sides of the ball and having success on both sides of the ball is fun to watch.
Going back to having to play that Friday stop and then play Saturday, this again goes all the way back to what happened with y'all in week 1, losing a game and having to take your bye week then. You start district next week, or you really kind of need as many quarters as you can get right now.
Yeah, we do. And that was, one of the things when we talked about, what we're going to do with the game. And Coach Caniford, was accommodating and understanding. And so, knowing that we had to get that game in, win, lose, or draw for us, I want to get it in for our kids to get the playing shape, being our second game. And like you said, only having one more before we start district, I want to make sure that we got as much quarters and as much playing time in as possible before we open up with Paradise and district play.
All right. Well, this week you take on a 4A Godley team. Tell us what your thoughts are on the Wildcats so far.
Godley's they're a dangerous team. They haven't found the win column yet, but that doesn't mean that they're not a good team. We see they've got some athletes, and the Fig Pen, their running back, is very shifty and fast, and if he's able to get the edge or find an open seam, he's going to be dangerous. So being able to contain him and keep him within our grasp is going to be a key. And then their quarterback is a good athlete and throws a pretty ball. And so making sure that we do what we do, and defensively we trust ourselves and trust what we've worked on all week. And have our kids trust in reading their keys. I think we'll be okay as long as we come ready to play. And again, defensively, they fly around. They do a good job. They've got some guys that like to hit. Little cornerback number 3, one of their safeties number 8, both come downhill and aren't afraid to hit. And so we've got to make sure that we're ready to play. We hold on to the football when we catch it, and do what we're supposed to do. And I think good things will happen.
Defensively, what was your thoughts from that game 1 Dunbar game to the Krum game? Not only just the stats, but did you start to see the players starting to understand the defense a little bit more?
Yeah, I did. And, our kids, we gave up a few things, but, it's that bend but don't break mentality. And so our kids, really buckled down and played hard. I think we had four fourth down stops against Krum. And so seeing our kids sitting in there and battling and getting those stops on 4th down when it was much needed, I think we grew as a defensive unit. And, like I said, I can't say enough about what Coach Cordell has done with that defensive group and the energy and the passion that he brings to that side of the ball. And our coaching staff on that side of the ball does a great and tremendous job of getting our kids prepared and ready week in and week out.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. Krum had a lot of yards, but they also spent a lot of times way behind the chains because your front 4 was getting a lot of pressure.
Yeah, that's true. And so, we were able to get back there and get to him a few times. And so, whenever that happens, obviously there's going to have a few more yards, but for us, it's not about how many yards, it's about how many points get put on the board. And so, our mentality and our motto is, we want to go 1 and out, not 3 and out. But if we can't go 1 and out, then we got to make sure that they don't get in the end zone. And so, our kids take pride in that. They bow their necks and they get ready to play. And when it's 3rd down and 4th down, they know what they've got to do to get off the field.
Well, that's also kind of where we're at on the evolution of football right now, where good defenses might give up yards because there's just so many different schemes and so many athletic players, but it's about the points on the scoreboard.
Absolutely. And so, if we can keep those points off the board, obviously we feel like our offense can score enough to keep us in games and to win ball games. And so, it's been a long time since a Ponder defense has held an opponent to under 10 points. And so to do that against a 4A Krum team who, is going to be a contender for a playoff spot in that district, I like what our kids did. And then, to do what we did against Dunbar the second half, and to keep them, scoring to, less than 28 points less than what they did the year before, it just says a lot. We're going to give up some points, or some yards, but we're going to try to keep those points off the board.
This episode of the Ponder Football Coaches Show is brought to you by Montana Ridge Outfitters. You love hunting and the outdoors, and so do we, and that's why we've created a way for you to enjoy it every month. With Montana Ridge Outfitters Shirt of the Month Club, subscribers get a new shirt with one of the top hunting ranches, guide services, or dealers from the United States and around the world. With this shirt style of your choice, members receive a 5x7 color card that has pictures, information related to each month's subjects. In addition, our website features previous month's shirts as well as MRO merchandise. Go to MontanaRidgeGear.com and select a 3, 6, or 12-month subscription and begin receiving your packages in the mail the following month. Now, as a member, you will not know what month's subject will be until you receive it in the mail. Thank you for being one of us, and we look forward to supplying you with next month's shirt. Again, that's MontanaRidgeGear.com. Also being a sponsor is Heroes Heating and Air, servicing the North Texas area for your heating and air conditioning needs. They can service your existing unit or design a complete brand new system, whether it's just for a service or a new install. Pick up the phone and give them a call, 940-597-9638. As always, we want to thank Marcus Schultz, the head coach of Ponder, for joining us here on the Montana Ridge Outfitters Ponder Football Show, Coach's Show. I don't know why I cannot get that a consistent messaging on that. I'm working on it. I've called them so many different things over the years, ISD shows, football shows, coaches shows, that when I'm recording those parts, they just all run together. And it's like the first one that I spit out wins. But anyway, if you have any questions, thoughts, or comments for this football coaches show, maybe that's what I go with. You can email me, Terry, at S2SSport.com. And if it's a question I think that fits the show, I will ask Coach Schultz. Or if it's just a question that you have about 4-3A or about the North Texas 3A, thing, or the state, I'll be happy to do that. Speaking of, we have our Sideline to Sideline Class 3A show that Grant Goodwin and I do each and every week. You can check that out here on this network, S2SGrantandTerry.com. And we're also on YouTube at L4 Media Company. But we just, we kind of wander around 3A each week, talking 3A from Bushland all the way down to, I don't know, Yoakum. We talked the whole state's what I'm trying to make. But it's going to be a good game this week for Ponder. I think you're going to learn a lot. And sometimes that might be, where on the scoreboard it might not be in your favor. And I'm not saying that Ponder doesn't have a chance. They do. I just think Godley at 0-3 is one of the best 0-3 teams you're going to see this year. And I know that's a cliche, but when they lose to West by 10 points, they lose to Quinlan Ford in a shootout, and then last week they get thumped by Paradise, but Paradise is really, really solid. And we'll be talking, of course, about Paradise next week. And so, yeah, I definitely think that Paradise or Ponder is is probably the underdog in this game, but I don't think it's that big of an underdog. I've seen what Dave Campbell said, and that's just a weird score, and maybe it happens. I'll just be shocked. I do think Godley's the favorite, but I'd have Godley the favorite by 14 points. But hey, you won't know till you play them, and we'll talk about that game next week and the start of 4-3A Division I right here on the Montana Ridge Outfitters Ponders Coaches Show on S2S, part of L4 Media.